I'm your host, Jasmine Knight. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, subscribe so you don't miss a single thing. Smash that like button and share so the video gets pushed out to others. Remember, we can make a difference, but we must speak up. Now, on with the show.
With Donald Trump.
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
It's a gift called discernment.
Listen, the Christians in the comment section, holy God. Oh, listen, I mean, zero offense at all, but they are mean. They're so mean. Like, damn, I'm trying to make a song about global warming and my Lucifer is lonely. They're like, she's Satan. Y'all are Satan, damn. No offense, though. Biggest rumor, though, now that I sold my soul to Satan. Gotta sell my soul 'cause I can't sing. I've always had really, really bad night terrors. It's really bad sometimes. I had the same reoccurring nightmare for 2 months. It was the same dream every single night. And it really just like fucked me up for the whole 2 months. And it affected me in my life. Like it affected the way that I viewed things and how I was, talking to people and how I was thinking. And like, I just was different. And it was because of my dreams. It was like changing me as a person. And I've had them since I was younger. I used to have them all the time.
You know that Donald Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago in 2006. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
And the Democrats never brought up Epstein, never talked about the Epstein files until Elon Musk posted this. And Bill Clinton was massaging the girl on the plane. You know that, right? The people you look up to are pedophiles, brother.
You've heard of Epstein's Island, but have you heard of Mystique Island? Mystique Island, where children are treated like adults. You'll find all of the same names in Epstein's book and more that our visitors, frequent flyers to this island. Bill Gates, King Andrew, Donald Trump, the list goes on and on.
You guys know that this painting of George Bush was found on Jeffrey Epstein's property? It's a very interesting depiction of him holding a plane next to two collapsed towers. You just can't make this stuff up. But this gets even better, guys. Have you ever seen the video of where he was when all of this went down? I want you to listen very carefully to the words that these children are saying. Must be just another coincidence here, guys.
Sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Kid. Yes, kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kit. Yes, kit. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play.
Kite, hit, steal, plane, must. When you rearrange those words, it's plane, must, hit, steal. This was literally minutes before that event went down. What a shocking coincidence. Yeah, peace and love.
Friend, I know you lying. Please tell me that my eyes are deceiving me and these ain't nobody's hands. Round of applause my ass, because this bet not be nobody's hands. Please tell me.
Do anything for club. They do anything for club. Do anything for club. Just wait.
If you don't want to pay the ultimate price, never put your food in here, okay? Here's the instruction manual. It clearly states in English, warning, users may experience heart disease, kidney failure, fluid in the lungs. That if you use this, you might be feeling faint, nausea, discomfort, headache, coughing, irritation of the mouth and throat, stomach discomfort, chest palpitations, and pain. Heartburn. That's basically what it says, all right? Problems with respiratory. So never in your life use one of these. Put your food in this to cook. I know we all grew up with them, but this is just the hard truth. Okay? This is bad for you. This is bad for you. This is bad for you. This is bad for you.
You guys know that 1913 was the year we actually lost control of our country, right? Oh, and just for historical context, World War I started in 1914. I mean, look, I'm sure that was a coincidence, but let me just tell you all the things that were created in 1913. First, the Federal Reserve, which is neither federal nor has any reserves. It's basically a private bank that just controls all of our money. Second thing created in 1913 was the IRS. And I'm sure it's just a coincidence that it was created the exact same year that a private bank took over all of our money. Yeah, I'm sure it's a coincidence that that was the year they started taxing you. Like, you work, they print, and then you pay them back with interest. Yeah, that makes sense. The next thing created was the Rockefeller Foundation. Yeah, and let's be real, that was all about philanthropy. It's not like they took control of medicine, education, science, and basically the health of the world. I mean, let's be real, all they were doing was donating money. Yeah, it's not like they were buying control of everything. Oh, and that worked out so well, right? Because people are healthier and more self-sufficient than ever, right? Oh yeah, also in 1913 was the American Cancer Society. I mean, that sounds like a good thing, right? That can't possibly be bad. Except it was completely funded by extremely wealthy people. But even though it was a charity, they never really gave to anyone. No, they just took their money and invested in pharmaceutical drugs. Oh, and chemo. Yeah, instead of taking that money and investing in companies that were trying to find a cure, no, we'll just invest in companies that use chemicals from the military that were later banned. Yeah, that's a good thing to keep fucking putting into people. Then also created in 1913, the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which sure, yeah, it's about civil rights. Yeah, totally. It's not about censoring people or, silencing critics. And then in 1914, we had World War I. And that became the first war ever that private industry profited from war. The private industry that's owned by the same families that created the Fed, the IRS, the Rockefeller Foundation, the American Cancer Society, the ADL. Again, just a coincidence. Oh, I'd also like to point out that a year prior to 1913, 1912, yeah, that was when the Titanic sank. And it's funny how three of the wealthiest individuals on that ship were the loudest voices opposed to central banking. Oh, and there's also the little tidbit that JP Morgan was supposed to be on that boat, but he canceled at the last second. But yeah, that's conspiracy. That's tinfoil hat talk. So what's happened since 1913? Well, the dollar has lost 99% of its value. Our debt has just become like a number that we ignore. Middle class getting fucked daily. War is now an industry instead of a conflict. Oh yeah, and your money isn't real anymore. Like, it's just not real. It's not backed by anything. It's just numbers on a paper that private bank prints. So guys, look, if you're worried about America being conquered or, a rebellion or it being taken over.
Listen, what you're seeing right now is crazy. We are crossing a line in human history where the boundary between reality and fiction is vanishing. And
this is not Hollywood billion-dollar high production studio. This is open source. This is from your computer, a click of a button, and most people will not be able to even tell the difference now. So be safe out there, question what you see, verify what you believe, and follow who must stay ahead of the curve. This is Syria.
China, Russia, the USA.
My name is Xander Dingus, and I got Sour Patch watermelon, Sour Patch strawberries.
Can you tell me about your dog?
This is Honey. He is a gay, gender fluid, golden retriever Afghan hound mix.
Yes!
This is Miley. She's a Great Pyrenees mix. We don't know what her sexuality is because she's a fucking dog and we live in rural America and we don't do that shit out here.
I'm an architect of 20 years, a member of the American Institute of Architects, and have been studying steel-framed, fireproof buildings for about that long.
We ask that for clarification because as we get into this, we want people to make sure that you're not just somebody with a wacky idea.
Right.
Okay? You come with some science to you. What is the official reason for the collapse of the World Trade Center towers?
Well, we're told that the planes hit the buildings and there was an explosion and a fire, and about an hour and a half later, in the case of the North Tower, the buildings collapsed due to structural weakening due to the fires. Mm-hmm. The problem is that we don't have large gradual deformations associated with collapses, and fires in high-rises have never brought down a steel frame high-rise building at all, ever. And what we have, unfortunately, is the evidence in the Twin Towers and the third skyscraper to collapse that day, which most people don't know anything about it. We have the evidence of the 10 key features of controlled demolition. In the case of Building 7, it collapses straight down into its own footprint at free fall speed in the first 100 feet. It's dropping, as you can see, symmetrically, smoothly, at free fall speed in the first 100 feet, 2.5 seconds. This is uncanny. There's 40,000 tons of structural steel designed to resist this collapse.
Is it, what, a 47-story building?
Yeah, this is called Building 7, right? A football field away from the Twin Towers. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're showing is left what happened. In fact, right is a controlled where you are using, or the people who made this happen, used demolition.
Indeed, and this is a direct comparison. And you can see that, indeed, almost free fall speed, free fall acceleration through 40,000 tons of structural steel. That is uncanny. So we have 700 architects and engineers demanding a new investigation as a result of this evidence and the evidence in the World Trade Center that is very explosive. Almost every architect and engineer we show this information to agrees with us that these are controlled demolitions. If we can get them to look at the information, because obviously the implications of a controlled demolition are dark for our country, because that means somebody besides Al-Qaeda was involved, because these have to be easily 3 of the most highly secure buildings.
What happened is an explosion. It's in the lobby, and the third explosion, the whole lobby collapsed on it. So what you tell me is that there was a plane and whatever hit the building, and the secondary explosion. There was like 3 explosions after that. We came in after the fire. We came when the fire was going on already.
This is
the Illuminati card game of conspiracy made in 1995. Does that look like to you? Pentagon, Boston Marathon, Israel, there's so many more. But you need to get your head out of the absolute sand if you still believe the official narrative.
For political office, you have all the money that you possibly need. You've accomplished a great deal, even though you are only 34. I know there's a lot of things that you possibly can do in the years ahead. Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life, and I also see it as somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain but a big smile. And that's a sad commentary for the political process.
Television, in a strange way, has ruined that process, hasn't it?
It's hurt the process very much. I mean, the Abraham Lincolns of the world. Abraham Lincoln would probably not be electable today because of television. He was not a handsome man, and he did not...
All that talk you heard about 5G interfacing with the shots, it's true. DARPA research and the operational programs to infect us with remote controllable prion clusters in the brain before they even rolled out COVID. I just got chills. This is so evil. I mean, this is how you take over. You colonize people. You implant everybody with these, whether you've had the shot or not. It's everywhere. You get these proteins growing in you. They hit you with the frequency, and it looks like you died of a stroke. Whew, man, this is bad. All over your brain, hit you with it. Bzzz, crystals grow in the next few days, cut through arteries, cut through veins, cut through capillaries, stroke out. Or he says we can just hit them with a light dose and just fog everybody out and make them sick where they can't think straight.
Could this actually be a proof to the stimulation theory? They told you the Charlie Kirk tragedy was a one-off? Well, it wasn't. It's been played before, like literally frame for frame. Go back to 1998, a Nicolas Cage movie called Snake Eyes. In that film, a political figure named Charles Kirkland, yeah, that's his actual name, gets shot in the neck by a sniper at a public event. Same wound, same setting, same everything. Opening scene? There's a banner for the event. Date, September 10th, same day. The event itself? A boxing match headlined by a fighter called Tyler the Executioner. In real life, Tyler Robinson is accused of being the executioner. Coincidence? Come on. While all this is happening on screen, Cage is talking about his lucky number and a giant 7 flashes in the background. Elon Musk just announced that all spacecraft launching in 2026 will carry the number 77 in tribute to Charlie Kirk. Why 77? Nobody's giving answers. And it gets weirder. Floating above the crowd in Snake Eyes is a massive all-seeing eye on a blimp, watching everything. That's the name, Snake Eyes. And what is 2025? The year of the snake. The tagline? Believe everything except your eyes. Filmed in Trump's hotel, Atlantic City. How many coincidences until it's not a coincidence? Same script, same symbols, same numbers, simulation confirmed.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
There's surprisingly quite a lot of footage out there of all these World's Fairs from the past. But there's a reason why you don't see all these magnificent pieces in school in our history classes. Because when you watch even a little bit of them, you see all the full-grown trees, the fully grown trees, all these dug out canals, these massive buildings with these tiny people next to them. The whole 2 years' time to build all of this and demolishing it 6 months later narrative doesn't add up. Just from a supply standpoint of view, I've worked logistics and freight auditing for a long portion of my life, and I can tell you, there's no system in place, especially back then, to deliver all this material. This one in St. Louis wasn't even in St. Louis. It was miles out in the middle of nowhere at the time. All that with horse and carriage, no power tools or anything like that. And building it all in 2 years' time, not possible. When you look at any of these World's Fairs from this perspective, the narrative falls apart. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
So they used to actually have devices where they could communicate with each other through these glass sphere objects, through the power of the ether. And bear in mind, this was in the 1800s. They had far more advanced technology than we do have now. And the buildings back this evidence up as well. They essentially had FaceTime in the 1800s through these devices. Not to mention they could create free energy through the buildings and the shapes of these buildings, through those big antennas that you can see on the buildings that would harness atmospherical energy through metals like copper, mercury, specifically red mercury. So then you have to ask the question, where did all this technology go? And why did they remove this free energy technology? And you have to understand that they removed this technology because almost all of it utilized free energy from the ether as the fifth element. And the ether was available to everyone, as the ether is infinite and it was free. But the Rockefellers could not profit from the ether because free energy cannot have a profit to it. So then during World War I, all of these buildings alongside the ether were destroyed, and then all of the documents about the ether were completely fabricated. And that's exactly why you have the electricity you have today, because the profits are extremely high and they can actually sell it, unlike the ether.
Why do you have emotional attachment to trusting all doctors? Why do you have an emotional attachment to trusting that your baby should have 20, 30 syringes put in them? Did you hear the things they put in vaccines? Aluminum in your baby. What is the purpose of aluminum in baby?
I never really took the time to understand the importance of that ideal until now, until I became the victim of false allegations. And the willingness of others to believe and exploit the worst before they have had the chance to hear the truth. Because, thank you. Oh, I love you. I love you more. Because not only am I presumed to be innocent, I am innocent.
Okay, so you may want to return your Minions DVD and make your children unwatch it after you see the stuff you didn't see when you first watched it. If you have, the innuendo in this movie or series, whatever it is shocking, man. Keep in mind it's for kids. You should have seen what their hands were just doing. You gotta rewind. Kissing, 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 all about kissing. And this is for, yeah, very young children, by the way. I mean, it's just kind of, and I'm not talking anything about, I don't know exactly if these minions, what their identity is kind of thing, but it's just a lot of lovey-dovey stuff, and not like anciently romantic either, more like, well, just watch. And this one is, look at this. What's that showing you? I mean, when you boil it down, I mean, how else do you look at this? It really is hiding in plain sight. And it's called informed consent, by the way. They're informing you through movies, media, production, etc. And you're consenting to it by not rejecting it. And they say that Manly P. Hall said, when people can see through signs and symbols, a veil will be lifted, a great veil will be lifted from the eyes of humanity. We're going to talk more about shocking things in movies. Follow for more and comment for part 2.
This is amazing. Look here. This is just amazing. Look
at this.
No ways. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh my God, girl. You should see.
This is just.
No, that's unbelievable.
This is. Yo. I saw the.
And then,
wow.
That's
I don't even have it on.
It was just truly amazing to see it just erasing the tissue.
The transducer is placed over the target, in this case, a tumor in the liver. Sound energy passes through the body to those tissues, creating an energy field that creates bubbles then. And the expansion and collapse of those bubbles is what mechanically then fractionates those tissues.
There is a two-tier justice system where the ruling class is allowed to do things that you and I are not allowed to do. And anyone that challenges the ruling class, they're going to throw everything they have at you. And so we could complain about it, or we could try to fix it and try to expose it, which is obviously, you know, what my life's work is in.
Even in Freemasonry and the military, the early initiates are intentionally misled as to what those symbols mean. Written by Albert Pike in the book Morals and Dogma, which is given to you when you're a 33rd degree, which is called the Sovereign Grand Inspector General. And in that book, he explains a way to take over the world, Sean, with 3 world wars. And the first world war happened exactly the way he said it. The second one happened exactly the way he said it. And also the third one's playing out right now exactly the way he said it. So we're watching a script play out. Some have even said that, like, certain groups have edited the Bible, the book of Revelations, and the reason why we're seeing it unfold among us and we feel helpless and there's nothing we can do because it's the Word of God. But that would be the perfect way to control the masses. If you had some plan to do something, is to make them think that your plan was the Word of God, so that they're not going to try to revolt, because who are they to revolt against God?
While the world is in so much chaos, this is what all of your leaders are doing. It's all one big club, guys, and you ain't in it. If you don't understand what all of this stuff means, then you need to wake up. You need to look into it. I found them. These are all the masks that these people wear to cover themselves up. These secret societies, these secret oaths. People who run your world are all wearing these masks and laughing at you at the exact same time. You need to wake up to the reality that's been casted before your eyes. The world is not what you think and not what you've been told, and these people have been deceiving you your whole entire life. You need to look within for the real answers. Peace and love.
I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away. I'm illuminated now, make a move, start the waves. I've been dreaming of my fire for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they won't go sign. Artificially identity away. I'm your future, past, present, I'm the fine line. Yeah, I'm the missing link of this illusion. I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't feel safe, I just flow. I don't need gravity, I need control. When I move, it's in a quick rumble. I will never ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down, whole slap, there it goes. When I
Here we go again, folks. Another timeline shift, and this one might be the biggest yet. By the end of this month, Earth will suddenly have a second moon. They're calling it a mini-moon, but something about this feels off. We've had one moon for as long as we've known. Now, out of nowhere, we're getting another one, and people are just accepting this? No questions, no pushback, no deep dives into the why. CERN has been messing with our reality for years, and it's no coincidence that these shifts are becoming more frequent. How long until they tell us we've always had 2 moons? That our history books were wrong, or better yet, misremembered? This is the manipulation of reality at work, and most people don't even realize it. We've seen them change small details before. But now they're playing with things on a cosmic scale. The timeline's shifting, folks. It's slipping, and they're rewriting it while we sleep. Pretty soon, our kids will open their textbooks and see 2 moons like it's always been that way. And you know what? Most people will buy into it, just like they do with everything else. They're twisting reality in front of our eyes, and only the awake can see through the cracks. Stay alert. Question everything. If they can rewrite our skies, what's next?
First time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like, we should, as humanity, we should take a brief moment to go, that's awesome. One of the things that we most asked for and look forward to is we are going to do a crew conference between Integrity and the International Space Station, the crew that's up there. And I will tell you, our friends that are on Crew 11 and our friends that are getting ready to launch on Crew 12 are arm wrestling between the station and home to see who gets to be in space when they talk. Like, they're as fired up as we are, and I did not expect that.
You're coming right out on television, in the newspapers, on the radio, and you're telling the people exactly what you're going to do before you do it, and they're like they're brain dead.
Well, we did a good job with the public school system.
This is exactly how NASA went to the moon, guys. Right here. This is exactly how they did it. This is why, you know, people like Buzz Aldrin say they didn't go, because this is how it was done. You were fooled so easily, too. All right, this one's for all my globetards. There's the moon, early in the morning. Why do we see blue behind the moon, first of all? Why is the moon visible in the daytime? Is the other side of the world just not seeing the moon? There's the sun right there. So how do we see only a half moon in the daytime? Why is there blue behind the moon? Is it because of this right here? Is it because that the moon is within the firmament and it's not a solid object, and that's why we can't go to the moon? Is that why? That would make sense. Just like all our ancestors told us. Riddle me that, globetards.
The International Space Station, at an orbital height of over 300 kilometers in the thermosphere. Wait, the thermosphere? You mean where it is said to reach extreme temperatures due to the absorption of highly energized solar radiation? Because the International Space Station is comprised mostly of aluminum, the melting point of which is a mere 660 degrees Celsius, compared to the 2,000 degrees Celsius said to exist in the thermosphere. NASA only digs their grave deeper when they then claim that the air molecules in the thermosphere are so sparse that the temperature can't even transfer to a thermometer, going so far as to say it actually feels cold in the thermosphere. Okay. Don't ask me how they were able to then measure the 2,000 degrees Celsius in the first place. But then you ask me, how is the International Space Station electrically grounded? And you've stumped me. So we ask NASA, and their response is that the ISS is grounded by the very air surrounding it. Wait, you mean to tell me that air that's so sparse it won't even register the intense temperature of 2,000 degrees Celsius onto a thermometer is able to maintain the electrical grounding of the entire space station? Since when does air ever discharge static? But before we get sucked down into absurdity, let's consider the velocity of Earth through space, and then take into consideration the innumerable amounts of not only meteors, but micrometeors, interstellar space dust, and floating debris, all traveling at comparable speeds, which should all pose a very real and constant threat, not only to the International Space Station, but to all the astronauts said to be on board. In fact, the sheer infinitude of undetectable micrometeors shooting through space, from whichever haphazard impact like bullets, should make every spacewalk a real life-threatening assignment. But every astronaut is always laughing about how much fun their jobs all are, whilst constantly inserting lame attempts to identify with viewers. They even go so far as to hairspraying their female astronauts' hair, making it look like anything but authentic weightlessness. The scenes where they are on harnesses are equally as laughable, as well as when turbulence is encountered on their outfitted zero-G planes. Not to mention bubbles being caught on film during their spacewalks.
You'll never find another like me. I'm the last of my kind.
How indoctrinated do you have to be to see the moon lighten up a small portion of clouds and not realize that that's impossible if it's 2,160 miles wide? Because even though it may appear to be small, it's still 2,160 miles wide, which means that light is linear and would light up 2,160 miles of clouds. Oh, I almost forgot. Fuck you, bitches.
How did humanity pull off the greatest space mission ever with 1960s tech and somehow lost the evidence? Think about this for a second. We had a spaceship, a lander, astronauts bouncing on the moon, live footage, perfect comms in 1969. That's before Wi-Fi, before GPS. Heck, most people didn't even have color TVs. And yet, not only can't we replicate that mission today, but we also somehow misplaced the original moon landing data. Like, all of it. The telemetry logs, gone. Blueprints, vanished. Raw footage, overwritten. It's like creating the iPhone, then forgetting how to build a calculator. If it sounds suspicious, that's because it kind of is. But here's the thing. Instead of just yelling fake or real like it's a Marvel versus DC debate, the smart move is this. Follow the data. Because real science doesn't rely on trust. It relies on evidence that can be tested, repeated, and reviewed. Now, NASA admits they can't go past low Earth orbit today. They say we need to figure out how to get through the Van Allen belts again. Wait, again? Shouldn't we already know how to do that? If we did it in the 60s, 6 times. And what about the fact that only 24 people in all of history have supposedly gone beyond 200 miles off Earth? Think about that. Out of 8 billion humans, only 24 have gone that far. Doesn't that seem odd? And let's not even start on the shadows, the flag movement, or the missing stars in the footage. That's a rabbit hole of its own. Bottom line, don't just believe or disbelieve, question.
Combusting in Israel and smoke coming out of their eyes and their ears and stuff. And I'm like, what? I'll have a look into it. So I was looking everywhere this morning, couldn't find anything on DuckDuckGo or Google or whatever. But then I come across this TikTok here, right? So just have a listen.
Presented people having smoke coming out of their eyes, nose, and mouth. And there was another video also of people who had tear gas canisters shot at their head, which I don't know if that was supposed to be some kind of a distraction, but this happened in Israel. But people surely had smoke coming out of their eyes, nose, and mouth, as if they spontaneously combusted from the inside. The other day, on the same day that Israel turned their 5G up.
So, okay, so I'm like, oh, there must be something to there must be a Bible verse to this, right? And straight away, so I'm searching about, eye sockets and smoke and stuff like that, and it leads me to Zechariah 14, the one, chapter that I've been on for so long and I've never even seen it. So here in Zechariah 14, it tells you that on the day of the Lord that God will gather everyone against all the nations against Jerusalem to battle, right? So it's actually God that's going to be in control of this. And, where it says for us, when you see the army surrounding Jerusalem, then you know that the redemption draws near. Okay, so this is all, the day of the Lord, the day of Christ, the rapture is all in the same event, right? As in the days of Noah, deliverance and judgment on the same day. Look, his feet shall touch the ground, okay? So he's also gathering the army. His feet will touch the ground. They have to flee to the valleys, right? Like with the earthquake. Okay, but have a look in 12. Okay, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand on their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Are you hearing this, brothers and sisters? This is unbelievable. And straight away the Lord led me to this thing that happened back in 2014.
But I am going to take you to February 2012. What happened to you?
Well, I got up to go use the restroom, and as I was coming back and I was getting back into bed, it's like someone grabbed me by the arm and shook me. Next thing I know, I'm catapulted into an open vision, and I'm hovering about 200 feet over the earth, and I can see all the beautiful skies and the sun and all the happiness, people going to and fro in the land, mothers with their children going into the grocery stores.
Symbol that I want to talk about is the headdress that the Pope or the Bishop of Rome wears. That symbol goes back at least 5,000 years. This strange and interesting headdress that the Pope wears is impacted by a god named Dagon. Dagon was a fish god. We have a god who's half fish and half man. So now we see the Pope's headdress, but when turned, you then see he's actually wearing a fish head because he's representing the worship of an ancient Phoenician god. And that very powerful mystical god is still dominating the spirit and the intellectual thinking of religion even to today.
Nobody wanna see us together, but it don't matter, no. 'Cause I got you, baby. Nobody wanna see us together, but it don't matter, no.
And here you have it. Watch the dude as he grabs the squib off of Charlie, puts it in his pocket. Watch closely. The one guy grabs the squib, gives it to the guy with the polo, he puts it in his pocket. Now the other guy that I once said, press the remote for the squib, takes the remote, puts it in the other guy's pocket, and he takes off. So the first guy gets the squib that was on the neck. Watch closely. So, boom, shot. There's the guy with the blue, puts it in his pocket. Here's the guy with the remote, puts it in his pocket. And scene. I told you guys, the guy with the brown shirt, when he pulled up his shirt, he was pressing the remote for the squib. And there you have it.
Thank you so much for staying until the end. Comment Jazzy Knight to show your support. If you got anything from this video, a good laugh, or helpful information, please smash that like button, share this video with everyone you know. Become a Patreon Knight and gain access to exclusive content and group chats with yours truly. I'll leave a link in the description. Never stop fighting for what you believe in. Remember, together, we can make a difference, but we must speak up.